Hey guys, my name is Chris and I welcome you back to Haywood Homestead. Today I'm going to show you how Amanda and I budget our income and the formula that we use each month in deciding how our bills are paid, how we save money, and how we, how we spend our money. I want to give credit for this formula that I'm about to show you and hopefully not confuse myself or you for that matter to one of my coworkers who's a good friend, and her name is also Amanda, and her husband and her, they do this budget, they do this type of budget, and it works really well for them, and it has for us as well since I adopted this formula. So again, I'm going to try to explain it to you in a simple, easy to understand way. And if you're interested in trying it out with your own, in your own personal financial picture, the way you, with your own income and expenses, you can definitely ask me in the comments, and I can help you come up with your own plan so that you can do it the way we're doing it, because I really like it. And the main thing with the budget formula I'm going to show you is what it really helps you do is to one, pay your bills on time. Never worry about your bills not being paid on time or not having enough money in the bank to pay your bills. Two, to have your bills separated from everything else, meaning any money that you want to save or any money you just want to spend will be separated from bill money, because the way we budgeted before and for the majority of our married life is that all of our money is in one bucket, so to speak. It's all in one checking account. Well, we have a savings account, but it would be hard deciding how to differentiate throughout the month what money needed to stay in order to pay a certain bill coming up, or how much we could spend at any given point of the month. If we wanted to go out shopping or we want to go out to eat, it was always hard for us to determine how much we could spend at different times, so as not to interfere with bills that needed to be paid, during that time period. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and stop rambling. I went ahead and wrote out what our current expenses look like and what our pay is projected to be for this is going into the month of May. So at the top, I get paid bi-weekly, and my pay every 2 weeks is $1,227. So my wife Amanda gets paid weekly. Her minimum pay is always at least $480. Normally it's $500 or better, sometimes almost $600. But we like to budget on the low end for those weeks that don't come in as strong. So we just budget the minimum amount of $480. So if you take for the month of May is going to be a normal pay period for us, meaning I get paid twice and then Amanda will get paid 4 times. So if you take $1,227 plus $1,227 plus $480, let's do this again. So I'm going to do 480 times 4 weeks is 1,920. And then I'm going to add my 2 pays. So $1,227 plus $1,227 gives us an income amount of $4,374 for the month of May. And again, it will probably come in higher than that, but we'd like to play it safe and budget on the low end. So over here on this side, I'm going to put income total, just so that we have that there for reference. Okay. All right, and let's take a look at our expenses. So right now we're building a home and we're living with family, so we're paying rent and we're also paying a construction mortgage payment. So for the month of May, our payment is $481. Our rent payment is $800. We're budgeting $100 a week for gas, so that's $400. Our electric bill, we have a temporary electric pole on our land right now that's using energy, and when the workers come, they may use some of the energy. We don't have the bill for the month of May yet, so I went ahead and just estimated 70. I might have to update that at another time. We also had to get a new computer a few weeks back. We decided to get a MacBook from QVC, and we're making some payments on that until it's paid off. So the payment on that is $352. Our car insurance for 2 cars is $161. T-Mobile is our phone service for my wife, myself, and my nephew Hunter. It's $113 a month. Our life insurance payment is $21 a month. Through my bank, since I have multiple checking accounts, in order to budget our money a little bit better, or the way we like to budget it, they charge us $5 for that. Amazon Prime, our membership for that is $15 a month. We currently have XM Radio until the end of the year at $8 a month. HBO is $15 a month. We have 2 storage units right now where I'd say probably 98% of our belongings is while our house is being built. And for 2 units, we're paying $256 a month. We're also paying a extra fee a month for extra storage with our iPhone, and that's $1, which I think I'm gonna have to up this soon because it's saying that I'm running out of room for some reason. And then Canva is a graphic app that I use primarily to make YouTube thumbnails, and I pay $13 a month for full access to that. So this is what we're going to do. So once you have all of your expenses laid out, you're going to, well, let's add these up first. So we have $481. Make sure you're in frame here on my camera. Okay. Plus $800, plus $400, plus $70, plus $352, plus $161, plus $113, plus $21, plus $5, plus $15, plus $8, plus $15, plus $256, plus $1, plus $13 equals $2,711. So over here, I'm going to put total expenses is $2,711, okay, is what is projected for the month of May. So this is how we do our budget formula. We're working by, we're coming into a 4-week month for us, 4 pay period, or 4 weeks. And so what we do is we first take this total amount of our expenses, okay? And I'm going to put 2,711, and then we're going to divide this amount by 4. And I'll put in parentheses weeks so you know what I'm talking about. We're going to divide this by 4 weeks so that we know how much is required each week in order to pay our bills, our expenses. And so let's figure that out. So we're going to get our calculator. So 2711 divided by 4 equals $677.75. We're going to work with whole numbers to make things easier. So let's just round this up to $678. So over here, I'm going to put $678. Okay, so what we're going to do now, both my wife and I work, as you see over here. We both contribute to the expenses of our household, and we both have a share in paying for what needs to be paid. So what we're going to do first, we've already figured out we need at least $678 weekly to pay all of our expenses listed out right here. So we're going to take this $678 and we're going to subtract my wife's minimum weekly pay amount of $480, and then equal that out. So we got $678 take away $480 equals $198 left needed to pay our bills. So basically what this is showing right here is each of her checks each week, at least $480 has to go toward expenses. All $480 each week needs to go toward expenses. Now, if she gets a paycheck that's above $480, like I mentioned earlier, which is normally the case, that extra money doesn't have to go into expenses. We're only worried about down to the dollar of how much money we have to set aside for our expenses, okay? So our total expense amount, $678, minus her weekly pay, leaves $198 left to pay in order to get our expenses paid. So now we're going to take this 198 amount. Sorry, I'm sitting by a window and there's dogs outside. Hopefully they're not disturbing you too much. All right, so we're going to take 198 and we're going to multiply this times 2. And this is also, speaking of weeks, now we're multiplying this amount by 2 because I get paid every 2 weeks, okay? So if we take 198 times 2, we get an amount of $396. All right, so what we're going to do now is take my pay amount, $1227, and we're going to subtract this this $396, okay? Because remember, $198 left over needed to pay for our bills. So we're going to use my pay to finish paying off our expenses in the month of May. Hopefully that makes sense. So we're going to subtract $396. So I'm going to do $1227, take away $396, leaves us $831. All right, so, and I'll be honest, this budget formula took me many questions and several attempts to get it right, because it don't take a lot, first of all, to go over my head. And I hate math, and just the process of it took me a while. So again, I hope I'm explaining this well. And if I'm not, you let me know what your questions are in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. And so what does this mean at this point? We know the $1227 is my pay amount. This $396 is times 2, because we had $198 left over after paying for expenses from my wife's weekly paycheck, which is $480. So coming down here, $1227 take away $396 equals $831. So this amount right here is what I have to come out of my paycheck every 2 weeks. And so this amount needs to go into expenses. So the way our bank account is set up, we have a savings account, we have an expenses account, and we have a spending account. Okay, we have 3 different accounts. So this $396 every 2 weeks goes into our expenses account, plus $480 every week goes into our expenses account. So if you take, let's do it like this. So if you take $480, which is what my wife makes at least every week, times 4, you get $1,920. All right, and so we're also adding $396 bi-weekly to this expenses account. So we're going to do plus, let's see, $396 plus 396 equals 2712, which is our total expenses. And this is rounded up a little bit, but it matches what we need to pay all of this in a month. And so 396 goes into expenses, and then this amount over here, which is left over every 2 weeks from my paycheck, can be divided into savings and or spending. So you decide, well, we'll decide at this point what this $831 will go toward. So at this point, all of our expenses have been covered. All of this, we're moving money every week, every 2 weeks into the expenses account, so that every time these bills are due, there's money in that account to pay for them. And when you start this off, you might have to beef up your expenses account just a little bit to get yourself going. But once you start adding the full amount in your expenses, and this might need to change monthly, sometimes we pay things off, sometimes balances go down or what have you. So this amount might not be the same each and every month. You have to calculate this every month just to make sure it's accurate. And so again, we have all of our expenses covered. So at this point, every 2 weeks, I have $831 left over out of my paycheck. And I can divide this again into savings or into spending. Sometimes I put it all into our spending account if I know we've got some things to purchase, or I'll put the majority of it into savings and then put the rest of it into spending. I mean, it just depends every 2 weeks. And remember, we're putting my wife's check, the minimum every week is $480. And so if, say, 1 week she gets $500 that week, so we're going to take that additional $20 and put that also into spending or savings, okay? So sometimes in a month, if we have $831 left over from my checks, we have $1,662 left over in the month. But if she's getting an additional $20 a week on top of this $480, we could do plus 20, plus 20, plus 20, plus 20, would give us $1,742 left over to save or to spend, however you want to divide that up. So this is what the formula we're currently using to budget our money. I know this can be overwhelming to you. It was to me at first, but my good friend where I work, again, taught me this, and she's taught others how to do it as well, and they've had great success with it. We're loving it because we never have to wonder if our bills are not being paid on time, or if we're using money that's supposed to be for a bill, when we go shopping, or whatever we may want to do. If we want to save our spending money, every month towards something big, we can do that. Over here, you might notice that we don't have a budget for groceries. And so our current situation, the rent we pay $800 goes toward food for the household. There's 4 adults living in the household right now. But once we move out, it'll be just Amanda and I, possibly my nephew too. But we will not personally do a grocery budget for expenses. What we will do is we will take money out of our spending account. We won't take it out of our savings because we don't typically use savings money for average things, just emergencies mostly. But whatever money we have built up in our spending account will go toward our groceries, because we found that we used to budget a certain amount every month for groceries. But what we found is that we don't always need that certain amount for groceries weekly or monthly. Some months we spend more, some months we spend less, same, weekly, however often you go grocery shopping. And so based on what's in our spending account and what we need at that time of the month, grocery wise, we'll just take it out of that account. So again, if you have any questions on any of this, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. We love this method of budgeting. If there's anything you don't understand, please let me know. And again, I will do my best to explain it in a way that you can understand it. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, please like it and subscribe. And also share it with your friends, because this might help others that you know as well if they struggle budgeting their money or trying to, divide how their money is spent. So I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all on my next video. Bye, guys.